Okay, I've got 4 slides and a few minutes to talk a little bit about this. My name is Chris Packham, I'm a GP in Nottingham, I've been a GP in Nottingham for 25 years, I'm also the Director of Public Health there. And I'm coming at this from a GP perspective. There aren't many GPs in the room. And clearly the relationship with the CCGs and the NHS is pretty important. So I'm going to try and just to set the scene a little bit from that perspective. These are tough times. We know all about the NHS tough time, and we also know that a lot of the savings that are going to be made or are proposed will fund prevention and public health. Now, at the moment, that's the public health bits of the public health budget that are going to go into the local authority, but potentially that also means any public health activity that the CCGs will still be doing, and we hope they will still be doing some activity. And this is huge. 4% for 4 years running has never been done in the NHS, ever. So there's going to have to be some real transformation, and I think some of the GPs who are looking at this can see that this is some task ahead of them. From a GP point of view, I don't think that GPs understand just the scale of what local government are going through. I mean, I know that the overall reductions are maybe not that great, and Dorset actually got an increase, didn't they? But actually in my own local authority, we've got a 30% cut in adult services. How on earth are we going to manage with that? I mean, huge challenges, despite all the stuff about efficiency. And I think one of the things is that GPs probably don't understand just how difficult life is in local authorities. And if there's one task I would take away from today, it's how we're going to make sure that they do. There's a lot of instability for providers and commissioners with personalised social and healthcare budgets. Incredible sort of instability potentially in the system that we're going to have to deal with. There's a lot of NHS successes, just all that list of things. For instance, I mean, most of our GPs in Nottingham City have reduced their hospital referrals by 25% in the last 12 months. Quite a lot of money can be released in that context. Whether it's released for the benefit of the health of the public is another matter. So there are lots of things that work, but there are also some huge challenges. I mean, this issue about maintaining quality services, be it in the NHS or in social care, for such a long time, over such a sustained period of no growth, is going to be a massive challenge. And yes, we've got to have a whole system approach, but of course we want to fund social care spending to save hospital bed blocking. We want actually to fund something to do with housing, to reduce severe mental illness problems. Really good evidence base for some of this, but how actually are we going to do this? Is Health and Wellbeing Board mature enough to do this within the next 2 or 3 years? And we've still got this issue, certainly on the NHS side of the fence, about balancing what is best, i.e. nice guidelines, with what's affordable, and how that conversation happens and who it happens with. And then the usual long-standing wicked problems around commissioning in relation to health and social care, like dementia and falls, and the Health and Wellbeing Board has to be the place where some of those are solved, perhaps for the first time. So we've got this transformational change agenda which we're going to have to tackle in this new commissioning environment. Integrated providers, that's relatively easy, quite a lot of efficiencies there, but how does that work in a competitive market? Pretty tricky sometimes to actually get that to work, depending on how much you push the competition law side of things, which the NHS of course is pushing quite a lot at the moment. And GPs do need to grab, they're quite good at pathway redesign. The danger is that CCGs will just do that. They will just do pathway redesign, because that's where GPs are comfortable, that's where they can understand the agenda. Fits, it's a win-win really, pathway redesign, but it's not going to be enough. And actually to make them champions of real transformational change is going to be harder. And obviously the senior officers in the council are champions of their own social care change. They've had to be, with the cuts that are coming and are already there. And I think there's a lot to look forward to. If health and wellbeing strategies, boards, commissioning processes work, they are going to be different. Integrated commissioning, whatever that means, again, if we can get the governance right, could be really good. And JSNAs need to have assets, they need to have everything put into the pot. They just don't need to be sort of depressing reads. But actually, I think there are also some challenges, and speakers have touched on this. how do we keep the right public health science skills buzzing around in the system to help this work? We've all forgotten world-class commissioning, but world-class commissioning was a genuine attempt to put sort of science into the business of actually making, in that case, health services efficient and effective. And how much can we rely on politicians as champion of this change? My own experience, which is limited, or I've been a joint director of public health 5 years, some politicians are quite, they don't like a lot of change. They don't like a lot of change with some of the provider services. And I think in some places there will be some of those challenges as well.